All right, welcome to the Oregon Ducks Live on the Voice of College Football. I'm Bjorn. I'm here with Brendan Eberly and Brody Gobler. And on this podcast, we're going to be talking about the Indiana-Miami national championship game. Then we're going to be breaking down, Oregon, how Oregon can get over the hump and make the national championship game, which they haven't been able to do in recent years. We're going to break down some numbers with that, and then dive into reasons that hasn't happened. And then we're going to touch on some transfer portal news and then end with a draft of some breakout candidates for the Ducks in 2026. You guys ready to get into it?
Absolutely.
Alrighty. So Miami, Indiana gutted out a 27-21 win. Mendoza was pretty awesome. Everybody, both sides played very well. It was a good, very well fought game. Two great teams. Brendan, what's your biggest takeaway from that game?
I think for me, my biggest takeaway was just genuinely how talented Miami was. They were a very talented roster. They kept up with Indiana, who was dominant all year. But they played a close game. That game was really good. Miami had a chance to get on the field and win the game at the end there. So it shows that they were in the game, and it showed that they deserve to be in the playoffs. And I think it really begs the question of, do we even need group of 5 teams in here when we have our 10 seed who snuck into the playoffs playing in the national championship? My answer is no. Get group of 5 out of the playoffs. This is just another reason why. Again, a team like Notre Dame played a close game with Miami. Some of these teams that were fringe teams like BYU, even at Georgia Tech. Now, I'm not saying Georgia Tech should have made the playoffs, but some of these teams that are fringe playoff teams would absolutely they would put the belt to some of these group of 5 teams. And so I just don't think they deserve to get in the playoffs. Don't waste your time, because with a lot of these power conferences, at least we're seeing top end talent, top draft end talent. Ruben Bain, oh my God, that guy's a beast. He is phenomenal. Mark Fletcher, another guy, he was untackleable. But it really shows. I guess another thing that was really big to see was Fernando Mendoza. He stepped up when his team needed it. Gutsy guy. That dude's just phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
First I want to say absolutely, Indiana sports fan. I hope so. Congratulations to you guys. At the end of the day, Mendoza just wanted it more. He was willing to take shots from the front, from the back. He was just willing to take shots from whoever to make sure that his team ended up winning the game. So like you said, Brendan, he's phenomenal. To touch on your group of 5 sentiment, I do think that if you do take them out of the playoffs, they should absolutely get their own playoff. They should absolutely get their own playoff because you still need to showcase that talent. And if they are good enough to make that top 12, just have it be the open division in Texas or whatever, where if they lose in that first round, then they just get slotted in the second consolation bracket they do down there. So I think that's the best idea I've seen for how to handle the group of 5 in the playoff.
Yeah, I don't mind that idea. My biggest takeaway from the national championship game was how big the trenches, how big of a factor the trenches are. I think these were the 2 most physical teams. I would have said Ohio State and Indiana was before Miami just completely out physicaled them and took them down. And I think that's the difference between Oregon and these teams is the trenches. I don't think Oregon is as physical. They're completely out physical Texas Tech, but Texas Tech is not on the same level as these teams either. So I think it's just moving the D-line in the run game with Mark Fletcher. He had the wide open hole on that long run. And then just having physical backs. It really comes down to physicality for me. These were the 2 most physical teams, and there was a physical battle all throughout. And I think that the thing that separated Indiana was the quarterback and the pass catchers. You've seen the back shoulder throws all season. Saw it on a big 4th down to Charlie Becker. Charlie Becker's he's a baller. He's a baller.
He's a baller.
The connection Mendoza has with his receivers in that long run, that was Carson Beck is not making that play. Carson Beck's not making these throws. You saw the interception at the end. So I think there's 2 physical teams, but it came down to the quarterback, came down to the coaching. Signetti ran circles around the crystal ball, I think, especially in the 4th quarter. So, yeah, those are my biggest takeaways from the game.
I mean, you kind of touched it on it pretty good. Like the thing with with Miami was their offensive line and defensive line was genuinely phenomenal, and that was what put them as far as they were in the playoffs. Like they have top end talent. Like you touch on Texas Tech. I think Texas Tech probably has a better defensive front seven, but the offensive line is not the same caliber. And it feels like if Oregon wants to go over the hump, they. I mean, we'll talk about it in a little bit, but it feels like these teams were just powerful teams, and Oregon has kind of always been known for being built on finesse, and finesse works, but to an extent. And so I think that's kind of our next step is, becoming a powerful team. It's not like we have a bad offensive line or a bad defensive line. I mean, every year we always have, some phenomenal defensive players on that front seven, and our O line is usually really good. It's just how it is. The front,
and the experience too
is important. That's true.
Yeah,
like a lot of these guys have been playing for a long time. I mean, like there is a significant difference when it's a 24-year-old and an 18-year-old. Like especially when you're talking about something as physical like football. Like it can fly in some other sports, basketball or baseball or soccer even. But when it's football, like your body's just more physically developed. And so I think that was also a key factor for Indiana was how experienced their team was. I mean, they have like multiple guys who are 24, like they have some guys who are pretty old. I mean, even Mendoza isn't he's not like a young QB. He's been around for a long time, and that experience is really important. Like that's what made both of those teams successful. I mean, Carson Beck has been around for a long time, and that's why he was pretty good this year. Like, that's just what it is.
Yeah, I think like what we've seen with Ohio State and Indiana is like these guys have more experience in college. Shout out Fat Guy come over. That is absolutely a vile picture. I mean, high school, but we don't talk about that. There's no way that's real. Anyways, not the point. You really like see these older teams like just like being more physical, like Ohio State, and it really felt like when Ohio State got all those guys back, like these NFL guys that year, that they were the most talented roster, and we didn't see that with Indiana because we saw them go undefeated the year before, but we weren't sure if they were ready to take that next step, and obviously they were ready. And I feel like Oregon's kind of at that place where we're bringing a bunch of these really talented players back for one final year, and we're just like, I feel like we're ready to take that next step. And it's if Lanning and just the staff as a whole can have the experience to get us over the edge. So Also, shout out Fat Guy taking a nap and Fat Guy with a sick car.
Brody, they love you.
Some loyal fans.
I mean, you could easily like look through the roster of Oregon this year with, Dante Moore, redshirt sophomore, Davison and Dier Hill, true freshman, Corey Moore, true freshman, Sadiq, he's also an underclassman. You just run through the roster. There's a bunch of young guys at key positions. Finney at corner. He got beat in the Peach Bowl. And once you saw Miami's cornerback come back in the second half, their top corner, he wasn't getting beat because he's a veteran. Those guys the average age of Indiana is like 23 or 24 across the starting 22. So I think that speaks as directly to the experience aspect of the game.
Yeah, which I guess we can. Is there anything else you guys want to touch on? Because I was kind of ready to transition into how Oregon can get over the hump. To kind of add on to those points. I guess transitioning into how Oregon can get over the hump here is, well, we've played in national championships before, right? But a lot of our guys now have played, in the playoffs. Like the playoffs it's a different experience than playing in a regular season, and a lot of these guys are now more experienced. Like they know what's going on. Like they've been in the situation, and that's going to really play to our benefit. Finney coming back for another year, like Dak Moore, Evan Stewart's going to be healthy. Like on paper, we're going to have one of the best teams. I believe I saw a like a way too early top 25, and Oregon was at like 6 or something like that. Which, I mean, I said that's what they're going to do. They put us there, and I don't see 5 better rosters heading into the next season. To be honest with you, I don't think there will be at 1 on paper better. Now, if Dan can get the job done in the playoffs and not get blown out for like the 5th time, it feels like, that the close games, Oregon finds a way to win, unless it's UW in 2023, which, just lack of kicking talent really kept us out of some, some chances to play in the playoffs. But
yeah, I can run through the numbers real quick on Lanning. Kind of all of his losses have been, aside from his debut year with losses to Washington and Oregon State, who are both ranked. But in his 4 seasons, well, I'm getting there. Let me get there, Brody. So in his career, he's 48-8 overall. 6 of those 8 losses have come to teams that either made it to the national championship game or won it all. And then 4 of his 8 have come to the champion, with Indiana twice this year and Ohio State, and then Georgia back in 2022. So, I mean, it's just it's clearly the point of he's not winning. Lanning's not winning the biggest games in the biggest moments. And it's to the national champion. And it's just, how can they get to the point where they are that team? And there's a recent trend of that. So Ohio State, before winning it all in 2025, they lost to Michigan in 2023 in the season finale. Michigan won it all. They beat Washington in the national championship game. And then help me out here. Who'd they lose to in 2024?
Ohio State. Didn't they miss? 2024? Yeah. No, didn't they win it in 2024?
No, they won it in 25.
Well, that was still the 4-team playoff, so they just lost to Michigan that year.
Oh, wait. In 2024, they lost to Georgia in 2022, and then in 2023, they lost to Michigan. And then, 2024, technically, I guess it wasn't – they won in 2025, but it was 2024 championship.
Yeah, so they lost the way that they do it is 2024 to 2025 national champion.
Yeah, sorry. That was what was tripping me up.
No, because I was going to say they lost to Georgia. It was like that field goal that was wide left.
So Brody, Brendan,
we can have Brody speak, but I mean, like, the difference is I feel like we like they lost close games. Like, we're getting slaughtered. Like, it's like two of the worst losses I've seen in Oregon history have come in the playoffs back-to-back years. Like, what's going on? Like, you know what I mean? And so, like, I don't know if it's a lack of preparation. Is it Dan's fault? Is it our guys just not being ready? Like, these are 2 completely different rosters, it feels like. I mean, we lost a lot of guys to the NFL last year, a lot of young guys stepping up, a lot of freshmen playing. So, you know what I mean? Like, is it something going on in the locker room? Like, what is it? Is Dan just not preparing our guys properly? And I guess, like, Dan's a young coach, so he doesn't have a ton of experience with this, but he's coached for national championship winning programs before with Georgia, and also Alabama, like 2 of the winningest, 2 of the most, at least recently, the winningest cultural programs in college football. So it just feels like it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Like, if you're an Oregon fan, like, we're going to win a national championship. Next year feels like a good opportunity. I mean, I feel like a Cowboys fan saying it's our year every single year, but maybe it really is. I think next year we're going to have a lot of talent, which is going to really play to our benefit, and a lot more experience. And also getting our receivers back healthy will also play a big role. I mean, we're going to have, some more impact guys. Jalen Lott could be an impact guy. Gatlin Bair is going to be an impact guy. Evan Stewart is going to be our number 1 receiver. Dak Moore could take another step in the right direction. Same thing with McClellan. Like, I feel like that's going to also help us out quite a bit, is just having a good receiving core, because that's kind of been slowing us down. Like, we talk about these other teams, like Miami's receivers were pretty good. Indiana's got 3 really good receivers. I mean, Charlie Becker is their 3rd receiver, and he came down with like almost like 100 yards on Monday. Like, he played phenomenal. And so it feels like we kind of need that play. Like running the ball it works, but you got to be able to pass the ball.
Yeah, Brody, one point that I just want to bring up before you talk. I know you've been waiting a little bit. I just want to I kind of like in this situation too, and don't take this the wrong way, but Kentucky in basketball, where they always get the one and done guys, there's no continuity year to year. And then in the March Madness, they always lose to an experienced team like UConn, who's been together 3-4 years, all the same guys. And I think Oregon's kind of running into a similar issue where there's a lack of continuity year to year. But I mean, to your point, Brendan, there is a lot coming back in 2026, despite, I mean, it's been 2 straight years of 10 plus draft picks. It's going to be another year with 10 plus draft picks. But there is a lot of the continuity coming back. It could be 13 to 15 draft picks in 2026. But I just think I would like to bring up that comparison, Brody.
Yeah, I actually got a text from one of our viewers. He said, you mentioned on last pod that Oregon staff is young, which hinders their playoff run. Do you think that is part of the reason Oregon hasn't had good championship success? Is partially that they also, like, due to players, NFL's talent / star ratings versus college team as a whole? If you look at it similar to basketball, like you were saying, last year Duke had 5 first-round draft picks, which 2 are battling for Rookie of the Year, but didn't win the championship. Same with Rutgers, who had the number 2 and number 3 overall pick, but they lost to the teams that are 1 experienced, 2 play as a team, and know how to win. And although some future NBA talent like these teams, like UConn, Houston, and Auburn, they don't have those types of guys. And then he says, now looking at college football, Oregon has a ton of 4 and 5 stars, while Indiana had a ton of 3 stars, but they were experienced. He's asking, do you think with the way Oregon transfers and such, it will struggle to get a chip in that way? So basically what you were saying, Bjorn, like, you need experience, you need continuity within it. And Brennan, you're like questioning Lanning. I think Lanning's the best motivator of sport. I don't think you don't lose to like inferior opponents if you're not the best motivator in the sport. Like, I feel like Cristobal, like his teams tend to lack focus. They tend to lose games in the middle of the season that they shouldn't lose. And I think Lanning's problem is he's getting blown out in games that he should at least be competitive in. And we did beat Ohio State the year they won the national championship, and granted that was at Autzen. So I do think he definitely can get it done. I just think not sure whether it's experience or just like, I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into one football game. And I think that if it would have been easier if it was just one of the blowouts, but blowouts happen, and it can happen for a bunch of different reasons. And if you play that game over 100 times, that doesn't mean it's going to be a blowout every single time. That just means that time was a blowout. And it's just like if that pick 6 doesn't happen first play, like, is it a blowout? Who knows? Like, we'll never know, but that's what it ended up being. So things can go wrong. There can always be excuses, but I think that at the end of the day, Lanning's going to learn from this because he's a psycho competitor, and this is going to be his greatest roster that he's had at Oregon and most well-constructed. And the experience, just like Indiana and Ohio State the year before, and even Michigan with a ton of their seniors. Like, I think this team is going to have more of an identity than we did this year. I feel like that's something we kind of struggled with. Like, we started leaning on the run game closer to the end of the season, but when that's not working, we didn't have anything. Ohio State had Jeremiah Smith, and UW before that, when they made the national championship, they had that really electric passing attack. So I feel like we'll have more of an identity of just being explosive and having better pass catchers and having a good run game and just like relying on our offense and our experience. And I feel like that is what will ultimately get us over the edge.
Brady, that's actually a really good point, because like having an identity is kind of like what you see from all these teams that like win. And like, I mean, I'm even thinking back to like UW, when UW made the national championship. Like, they had a phenomenal passing attack. I mean, they lost to Michigan, who was known for having just like a physical offensive line and a dominant run game with Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards. and JJ McCarthy back there, ooh, scary guy. But I mean, and then you even look at the Georgia national championship winning teams, their defense was next level.
Yeah.
It was an NFL defense that they were running out there every week. I mean, you go back even to Alabama's run, they had Tua and then Mac Jones, they had good passing attack. They have an identity. And, you look at this Oregon team this year, didn't feel like we really had an identity. It felt like we were good at a lot of things, but we weren't great at anything in specific. I think we were good at almost everything except for scoring in the red zone, which is important. But, if we're great at running the ball, we're great in coverage on defense, then we're going to win a lot of games. You force teams to be one-dimensional when you do that offensively and defensively. If we have a no-fly zone in the secondary, they can't pass the ball. They got to run the ball. And then at that point, you can, really – at that point, you have an advantage over the other coaching staff. And, if you're looking at it in the offensive side of the ball, if you can run the ball down their throat every single play and they can't stop it, there you go. You just run the ball. You don't need to change it up. Or even if you want to, you really are allowing your offense to, move the ball through the air a lot easier because of they fear your rush attack. But I think a lot of that does come with experience. I think also you brought up some good points, Birdie, with what you're talking about with comparing it to the basketball team. It does feel like Oregon's going to put out guys in the first round every year. We have really good pro potential. You're going to go to the league if you come play football at Oregon. You're going to go to the NFL. If you perform in college, you can go higher than some of the other guys. But there's a good chance you're gonna at least get at least get a look, because of how loaded our depth is. And so it just feels like the experience is going to be just pivotal to our success. So
yeah.
I think psyche is such a psyche's such a big thing in sports. This pick six, you might say we scored on the next drive, but how much did Dante Moore trust his offensive line? Because he gets hit once or he gets hit twice, or there's just so much stuff that's in the back of your mind as an athlete. It doesn't matter how well coached of a team you are. If someone's running the ball down your throat for 8 straight plays, you're gonna think the next play is a run play. You might hesitate that 0.3 seconds that allows an over route to get, just an extra yard over you. So he's gonna throw the ball, and then that's there. So it's just there's so many small things that we don't see. You can be the best coach team in the world, but there's still individual players that might make mistakes because of the way the flow of the game is going, or maybe they got hit really hard on one play, so they're a little bit less physical the next. It's just compounding all of those. It's just the way I see it.
Yeah, I think that also everything you guys are saying, it starts with recognizing the issue and looking inwards for the staff, and I know that's exactly what they're doing right now. And with hiring new coordinators, they are in-house, but they are a different voice at the top of both the offense and defense. And along with recognizing the issue and being self-aware, Lanning's AP poll was released today, his final AP poll, and he put Oregon at 4, Ole Miss at 3, which I wasn't necessarily surprised with that because that's what a lot of coaches did, but it piqued my interest a little bit that Lanning actually put that as Ole Miss, which they were in the game against Miami and Oregon got blown out. So it's the logical answer, but it is a sense of he definitely has pride in his program, and to put them behind another team, the 4th best team in the semifinal, that takes some stepping back and seeing the entire picture. And I mean, that's it. There is an issue of why Oregon hasn't been able to get over the hump and beat the best teams. And I trust that's the staff that they'll figure it out. And moving forward, I mean, the experience in 2026, we've talked about it a lot. That's going to be a huge step towards that.
100%.
Shall we move on to the transfer portal news, Brennan?
Yeah, we can talk about it. So I guess I kind of want to just touch on Jordan Seaton because he's kind of the biggest fish left in the portal for right now. There was a lot of buzz about him coming to Eugene and getting an official visit. But LSU, they did everything that they could to prevent that from happening. They like literally kept him in Baton Rouge for as long as possible. They had like a dinner, they had like a dinner planned, but apparently it got canceled because he was going to come to Eugene, and just be on a visit. But he ended up not today, and so it was a little bit concerning as Duck fans, because I mean we know his top 3 is Oregon, Miami, LSU. LSU is the one that's I would argue is in the lead. They have him on visit, they have him on campus. And so what happened was he didn't sign today with LSU. So if you're a Duck fan, that's usually a good thing, because his visit is ending, and he didn't sign. So I think he's waiting to kind of hear some things out from other teams. I believe that he wanted $6.5 million, which is a lot of money that Oregon I don't believe has. LSU and Miami definitely have that kind of money. They've been using it in the portal pretty regularly. Miami specifically. I don't think he wants to go to Miami, though. From what I can tell, it seems like an Oregon-LSU battle. He didn't commit to LSU.
He isn't scheduled to visit Oregon at this point, though, which is concerning. But they are still like notably in the race, which is
they are. And when it comes to like Oregon recruiting, usually not a lot of like talk. Like think about Coy Parrish. Like there wasn't really any talk of us landing him, and then all of a sudden it's just boom, he's committed, and you're like, whoa, where did this come from? So usually silence is a good thing for Oregon fans. We don't usually get a ton of buzz and it go our way. I mean, we look at like DJ Pickett a few years back, some of these other, high-end 5-stars. It's like, hey, Oregon's got a real chance to win this battle, and then they lose. Yeah, for real. This is my prediction for Lane Kiffin is he does 2 years at LSU. Caitlin DeBoer does 2 more years at Alabama, doesn't make the playoffs one of those 2 years, and he gets fired. And then Lane Kiffin goes to Alabama. That's my prediction. But back on to Seton real quick, just to finish things up. He supposedly wants $6.5 million, which is a lot of money. I do know that the Oregon, like our staff is, they're not in town right now. They're out recruiting. So I believe that the plan is that Seton is going to get an at-home visit from our staff to recruit him. So we will see. That's probably where the numbers will be. The numbers will be discussed, and they'll kind of have an idea of what's going on with him. But right now, it's pretty. Nobody knows with Seton.
Yeah, I mean, we could look at the position like right now without Seton, like what it could look like, which would be, I mean, it's all up in the air. There's still a lot of time before next season, but sure. Left tackle, I mean, Fox Crater filled in admirably for Isaiah World against USC. And then Janoris Wilson has always been the kind of right swing tackle, filled in at right tackle this year. Nacho, I didn't say that right, but he's also super talented. And then the Michael Bennett guy from Yale, which he might go to inside the guard, but he's also an option at tackle. And then Zaire Addison is also a talented recruit. So I mean, they have options. It's just Seton he's the top dog right now, and he would immediately take that left tackle spot.
I don't think Seton's going to Washington, man.
Washington.
No shot.
His top 3 is already been announced.
Yeah, we're talking about people not wanting to go to LSU. Definitely nobody wants to go to Washington. Their own quarterback doesn't want to go there. So, I mean, I would really like seeing. I think it would round out our teams, and like we're talking about, manning up or whatever, being more physical. I think Seton would absolutely make our offensive line one of the top 3 in the country again. I think we would be a pretty easy Joe Moore finalist. Without them, it would just take a lot of stepping up from guys. I feel like whereas Seton is kind of just like a dude.
You can put him on an island.
What?
You can put him on an island out there and no need to chip, no need to have a running back over there. Like he just takes away that whole side.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most talented pass blocker in the country, right? Like that's in college football. The thing with him is he's not a great run blocker, but like realistically, we just need somebody to protect Dante. That was our clear issue against Indiana. Was Isaiah World. he was injured.
Game put on
Supposedly.
skates.
He got worked. He got worked all game, and he got worked in the game at home against Indiana as well. So really, just the pass protection is a big deal, and Seton fits perfectly. I mean, like I said, that would be a dream come true to land him. Like he's no matter what happens next year, he's kind of like a Caden Proctor who had a pretty bad year this year. But I think Caden Proctor is still going to be a first-round pick just because of who he is and his athletic profile, especially at the tackle position. And I think Seton's another one of those guys where realistically it doesn't matter where he goes, he'll be a first-round pick no matter what. I think teams would be stupid not to take him.
I mean
that with Seton back in the day, it was between Colorado and Oregon. Though that was the final two, and he ended up picking Colorado. But we'll see.
Yeah, just to put Seton's his talent level and what he's done. He's all conference first 2 years in college. 15 years ago, he would be in contention for the number 1 pick as a left tackle. Like that was, there were a couple left tackles. One of the Fisher brothers got picked number 1, but now it's just the quarterback is going to be picked number 1. But I mean, that's how talented he is. He genuinely could be top 5 pick, as like people are projecting him as a left tackle all pro within 2 or 3 years, and keeping that spot for 15 years for a franchise, which is obviously huge as the blind side of the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, this is just a totally separate tangent, but I don't think blindside matters as much in like a shotgun heavy system as it used to back in the day. But that being said, like you still want that franchise changing tackle. You want that Penei Sewell, that Joe Thomas back in the day. You want Seton to just really elevate that offensive line to that elite level. And yeah, I think LSU is purposely, keeping him hostage. Leave it to Lane Kiffin to do that. But they definitely do not want him to leave in Baton Rouge because that place is a trash hole. So, yeah, they're definitely keeping him there for a reason.
Yeah.
I want to touch on this. Trey McNutt. I mean, Trey McNutt's super talented, but there are so many talented safeties on the Ducks roster. Incoming guys. Like, do you think he's going to have an impact? Like, dude, I think I could see him
this year. He was going to play this year, but he broke his leg.
Yeah.
I mean, he plays safety? Like, we have a lot of good safeties. But I mean, like, if we move. Like, we can move our guys around. I mean, we're going to have Coy Parrish. Like,
it was Aaron Flowers and Thieneman this year.
So
I think Flowers' spot might be up for grabs. I think not great against Indiana.
But the other thing is like with Trey McNutt, like he is so talented. But I think what I would like to see Oregon do is almost like do move one of our safeties to like linebacker. Like that's almost what Thieneman did this last year. Like he was basically a linebacker for us. Like he didn't play really over the top in coverage. And so I think they just need to do that. Just give us a safety hybrid linebacker type of guy, which is kind of like how I feel our recruiting class has gone with the way that it is. It's just guys that are super versatile. But I mean, like we bring in Jet Washington as well. Like, again, like our safety room is really loaded, and our DB room, I mean, iffy as well. I mean, a spoiler, we have like a draft, but Iffy is one of the guys that I was looking at taking is, being a guy that's going to really have a big year next year. He's going to seriously take another step forward. I mean, Finney, Iffy, like a lot of these guys are going to be really good. I mean, we just have some young players. Dorian Brew as well, and Naeem Oford. Like we have a lot of talent and a lot of youth in that DB room, and I think all of them step up. Maybe not all of them, but I think most of them step up. Like I think these guys are really talented. Like there's a reason why Dan was, picking at this area in the DMV, just taking all those guys. But I unfortunately I kind of understand what Penn State Sports Talk's talking about here is that like if some of these guys don't get playing time, they're gonna leave. We saw it already this year with some of our guys. Some of our redshirt sophomores who just weren't really gonna find the field very much, and to better their career, they needed to go somewhere else. And they all went to freaking SEC schools. Like it's not like they're bad players. Like these dudes are going to play against some of the best in the country. It just goes to show how much depth we have and how much talent there is So,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think both of those guys really take serious jumps. But
Yeah, I think we're really moving into like this era of like almost positionless football. Like we're really seeing that with the Seahawks and their success right now. Like they're, primarily out of nickel and dime packages with Nick Gimmonworry, the South Carolina product last year. Like he has completely changed their defense, and we kind of see that with like Ohio State too. And Caleb Downs, like he's just so versatile; he can really play anywhere. And we, experimented that a little bit with Thieneman. Obviously, I feel like we played out of a lot of nickel packages because I didn't really see more than Betcher and Mixon on the field. I didn't really see any 4-3 or anything like that. So I mean, I think that's absolutely the vision we're going for. And I think Lanning is actually ahead of the curve with the way he goes about recruiting defense. Because like as an offensive guy, you always want your receivers blocking the safety because the corners are usually the worst tacklers on the entire team. And Lanning is recognizing that you can't really have a true like lockdown corner like that. You have to have a guy that is willing to go up and tackle. And Finney is a perfect embodiment of that. Like he's been in a ton of forced fumble situations. Like he's a more than willing tackler. We see that on film with all of these high school guys, all these guys that he wants to build. He's really understanding like the trends of football right now, and I think that's a big thing. Especially with him being so young, you want him to be able to see that advantage and not be an old head.
yeah.
And with that, with the positionless football and Lanning recruiting so well, I mean the number 2 class before Beaver's decommitment, but is like Brendan said, like these guys are the guys who don't get on the field are going to leave, and that affects the depth, and it's going to be it's already beginning to be a recurring cycle of the reserves leaving and kind of replenishing the depth, whether it be veterans from lower Division I colleges, which is kind of what it's been over the past couple of days. I think that's the mark of like a true elite program. That's what Ohio State has to go through. They have 20 to 30 guys leaving in the portal. Miami, even a bunch of guys entered the portal today. That's just what happens with these elite programs, is that you are going to lose talent no matter how good you recruit, because there's just too many players for not enough spots.
Yeah. No, I mean, Dan has been ahead of the curve on this for a while. I mean, we even look at like the last couple of years. The guys who we lose in the portal are good. I mean, we lost like Deontay Thornton a few years back, and that dude's in the NFL. He plays for the Raiders. I mean, I'm even thinking of like a guy like Cole Martin who plays at UCLA. Like, to Brody's point here, like that dude was known for being a phenomenal tackler in high school as a corner. I mean, you know what I mean? And so Dan has kind of done a good job of staying ahead on that. And that's a very positive thing. And our recruiting is never going to be an issue at Oregon. And I just think it's just simply winning those big games, which will happen. We've done it before. Dan's even done it before, but I want it to happen every time.
We'll see.
Yeah, I think like one of the most interesting things like I saw this weekend on social media was the talk about how rosters are constructed and shaped. And you really saw this trend, with 2019 LSU and the teams of the past, like before the NIL and before the 14 playoffs, you saw like a steady amount, an equal amount of each, like the number of players in each class, like freshman through senior. You saw an equal am I cut off? Or
there you go. You're back.
Okay. You see an equal number of people in these classes, where it's like kind of like you see the development, and that's the pinnacle, and it's balanced. And now these last 3 years, as we slowly see NIL like seeping in more, we see a lot of freshmen and a lot of seniors, but we don't see many of those sophomores and juniors because they're transferring out. But you see a very high amount of seniors like on these championship winning rosters. And I think that's overall going to be the recipe of success, and what ends up being the future of college football is just recruiting these older, productive guys because it's so much easier to transfer now and get, your money up.
Well, I mean, like a lot of people want to like blame this on NIL, but I mean, like you look at other sports like basketball, baseball, like you would rather go after JUCO guys because they have a little bit more age, a little bit more experience, and still have all this eligibility. But something that's also really impacted that is not even really talked about that much is, I mean, we're going to be going to 2026, and like all the COVID stuff, like that still has a serious impact, and like that truly does affect a lot of these draft classes because guys can be in college for so much longer, and get bigger and stronger and faster. And so what's happening is you're having guys that are in college for longer than they should have been in college, and so that means that there's more talent that's still in college, and so that just means that there's extra guys. I mean, I'm a baseball guy, so I see it like pretty regularly, like because baseball is such a developmental sport, but like the JUCO guys, like unless you're a top, you're going to an SEC school for baseball, like you have to go JUCO because otherwise there's too many guys that are too old that it makes it impossible to really find a spot. And this is even happening in college football. I mean, dudes don't want to sit for 2 years because what's going to happen is if they don't take that jump and get really good, they're just going to bring in a fifth-year guy to come in and take that role for another couple of years. And so it's there's NIL has an impact, but there are other things that are kind of creating this issue, and it's a lot of it comes down to eligibility. They even were talking about changing like redshirt years. I saw something saying that they were changing it from 4 games to 9 games, which would be crazy. But at the same time, like that would also be really good for some of these younger guys. Like, you actually get playing time. You get to play in a lot of these games. Like, it doesn't just limit how much like experience that you can get from your freshman year, because 4 games just really isn't enough for a staff to be able to like, oh yeah, this guy's got it. If he doesn't have it, what I mean, as a true freshman, especially. So
Yeah,
it that also could affect things. I mean, I don't like that's just been thrown into the air. We'll see what happens with that, but there's a lot of things that are affecting this this talent disparity.
yeah. I'd like to address this comment, which is kind of a misconception that I'm seeing around college football. This actually is, I mean, 5 years max is the rule with 1 red shirt and 4 years. It's just the medical red shirts that come into the picture, where a guy gets hurt, 3 games in this season, then he applies for a medical red shirt and gets that season taken off of his eligibility, and that's when you see a guy in college for 6-7 years. I mean, COVID had a lot to do with that, with the Cam McCormick guy from Miami, and he had 9 years in college. That was COVID, and then like 3 medical years and a red shirt. And so, yeah, right. And then 4 years of eligibility. So, that's the major example of that. But that is a misconception. It is just 5 years max. It's just the medical stuff that gets in the way.
But there's also like the JUCO stuff. Like guys are running. Trinidad Chambliss wanted something, and like there's a lot of stuff that's just kind of like what's going on here.
Pavia's JUCO eligibility got thrown out the window. Like those 2 years didn't count for him.
Part of the issue with college football is like there's no like you look at college football it's a professional sport nowadays. It's not like an amateur. Like the guys are getting paid a lot of money. Like this is a professional sport. And if you look at a lot of other professional sports, they have like CBA agreements, which there isn't anything for college football, and you can't really do anything about it because you can't like
take them to court.
18-year-old kids aren't going to have like lawyers and stuff, like what I mean. And so like these things get really messy and really complicated, and so it's a mess right now. But I don't know, I like it. It's kind of fun. It's exciting. I mean, like there's always crazy stuff. Like there is never a dull moment in college football. I mean, every single day. I mean, we've got Lane Kiffin in college football. There will never be a dull moment. Never, ever.
So yeah, definitely not with Lane Kiffin and Sam Levitt in the same zip code. That's just recipe for disaster.
Dude, Carson Beck in Miami that in itself is a crazy thing.
Yeah, I mean the Gaviner twins, the Snapchat stories, he really is a hero for some people. Not Miami fans on that last drive. But yeah, it kind of is ridiculous. I feel like there should be some regulation, someone at the top, like a commissioner or something, to just like make the rules more clear, because they apply for some people like Pavia, and then you have Trinidad who, it's a different situation. It's medical versus JUCO, but it's why is it different for like why is there exceptions for one person and not the other? And like similar cases are just like treated differently. So I think there needs to be some regulation, but at the same time, like the wackiness is kind of just college football. It's funny at this point. So yeah,
it's funny until it's your team.
Yeah, exactly.
Something I did want to just touch on real quick. This. So we are considering, starting potentially another channel. And so we would, do other football stuff. So if you're interested, let us know. We can definitely start something up there. We just really enjoy talking with people. And so this could be something that we do on another channel here just to, get the ball rolling. But we could definitely consider doing something like that.
Speaking of which, we're gonna, if we're good starting our draft, we could do that.
Yeah.
We're going. So our draft today is going to be on breakout candidates on the Ducks roster for the 2026 campaign. Brendan, I'll put you on the spot if you want to go first.
Yeah. First pick. Let me think about this here.
Brody, do you want second or do you want me?
No, I'll go first. I'm gonna go with Deer Hill. I think Deer Hill. I actually think he's better than Davison. I know not a lot of people think that, but I think Deer is gonna take that jump. Like Deer might be the guy, dude. He's phenomenal.
Yeah, he definitely is phenomenal. I do just think that the traits that Davison have are a little bit more rare so far.
But he has but Davison doesn't what are Davison's like elite traits per se?
Elite contact balance, elite strength, great vision. Like he's disgusting. Huh?
I know, but I mean, dude, I don't know, man. We'll see. I
think he's a bigger Bucky. I feel like he's ridiculous. We'll see if he can.
That's how I feel about Dier. I feel like Dier is the more explosive guy.
He definitely is.
Me a lot more of
there's
Bucky.
a difference between like power and explosion, and I feel like Davison's got power and Dier's got the explosion. We'll see how it works out. But with my second overall pick, I really do think that Dante Moore is going to take that next level, and he's going to finish first or second.
You can't do that.
How is that a cop-out pick?
Hey,
he's going to be a Heisman candidate.
It's subjective. It's Brody's pick. Pick.
Yeah.
Bad opinion. Your opinion can still be wrong.
What are you talking about? He didn't even finish top 10 in Heisman voting. We're talking about college football. We're not talking about the pro. Like that is not what I'm talking about here. I think that he's going to take such a leap from like the way he handles the line of scrimmage, like the way he
I see what you're saying now.
Like everything. Sure. There's going to be such a night and day difference between this year and next year that it's going to feel like, even though he was considered a top 2 pick, he's going to be a college quarterback. And he was not a college quarterback. He was an NFL prospect that was playing college quarterback. And next year he's going to feel like a college quarterback that's going to be an NFL quarterback. And I feel like that's the distinction. So I think he's going to take that next step. He's going to go to New York. It's going to be like Knicks and maybe even a bigger jump because I think he's more talented than Knicks was. So I guess we'll see going in. But might be a cop-out pick, but that's where I'm going.
I think it's just a high bar to leap to, but I mean, he's certainly capable. He's certainly capable. He has the talent. I mean, he's talented. He's more talented than Gabriel and Nix, and they both made it to New York. So, I don't love the pick. I don't hate it after your explanation. So with the third and fourth pick, so my third pick, I'll go with. I mean, this can also be seen as a cop-out answer, but Jamari Johnson, I think going from the tight end 2 to tight end 1, he already was top 10 in the nation amongst tight ends in receiving yards. He had over 600 yards, 4 touchdowns. I think he's just going to have an even bigger impact. It's kind of feels crazy to say for a tight end in college football, but I think he could scratch the surf, like almost get to 1,000 yards if the offensive coordinator schemes him up. And I mean,
Bjorn, before we move on to your fourth pick,
Yeah.
I'm going to make an
Yep.
outrageous statement, potentially.
Yep.
Jamar Johnson's better than Kenyon Sadiq. That is my statement. And it's
I love
a
it.
hill I'm willing to die on. The reason why is Sadiq's a phenomenal player. He's a freak athlete. And he's going to be a top 20 pick for a reason in the NFL draft. But Jamar Johnson not only outperformed him and outproduced him as a redshirt sophomore on his own team, he really stepped up this year. Like, the dude was phenomenal. Like, Jamar Johnson was unbelievable. Jamar Johnson's also just bigger. Like, he's gonna be better in the NFL. Now I get we're talking about college, but like, dude, he's a mismatch nightmare, and so is Sadiq, but not to the same level. Like, Sadiq was like our quote unquote red zone threat, but like, Sadiq doesn't have the same like high point go up and catch the ball that Jamari has had. Like, dude, he is pretty dang good.
I completely disagree with that take, because first of all, Sadiq's an elite run blocker. Jamari Johnson is an average run blocker,
Yeah,
even
but
at his
Sadiq
size.
That's true.
But
That's the
Sadiq
biggest
is
difference in
6'2",
that
though.
game.
Like, Sadiq's going to be a lot less successful as a run blocker at a higher level.
He's so
Like,
strong, it doesn't matter. He has leverage. It doesn't, like, there are guards that are elite that are 6'3", Brendan. He will be fine.
But they're also 350 pounds. Like, Sadiq is never going to be that, like, a big, like, Sadiq's peak size is like 6'2", 250. You're telling me that's going to just mow through some freak defensive ends?
But listen, the second reason is Arthur Smith used Jonnu Smith more than Kyle Pitts, but not a single soul on earth thought Jonnu Smith was better than Kyle Pitts. So just because he was outperforming in a few games doesn't mean that that was his fault. He has more focus on him. He's game planned around more. We'll see. I think Jamari Johnson will end up having better stats receiving, because he is technically a high-rated receiver. I think he'll be used more in this offense, but that does not mean that he's a better player than Kenyon Sadiq.
Listen. My Sadiq's a phenomenal player. Okay, and I love him. Right? You know, he's an Oregon guy. Like, he's been in the program for 3 years now. Like, great guy. Jamari Johnson just has done more. Like, Sadiq hasn't been anything better than like a kind of a mid tight end. Like, production wise.
He was second in the best tight end in the nation award.
Yeah, but he didn't like produce a ton. I think he only had like 4 touchdowns and like 600 yards.
I think he had 700.
I was just putting up
numbers. 560 and 8 touchdowns. He led the nation in touchdowns for a tight end.
Oh, he had 8. Okay.
Yeah.
Again, he didn't even eclipse 600 yards receiving though. Like, and he had quite a few drops. Like, we can't just discredit those. There was a lot of times where I'm like, Sadiq, you've got to catch that ball. Like, Jamari had a drop also, I know, but the game was already over in the Peach Bowl at that point, dude. Like, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
We can agree to disagree. I will touch on the NFL fit. I don't think you can it's the NFL fit is a very imperfect balance, because if Sadiq ends up with a bad quarterback and a bad offense, like, he could easily flame out. And if Jamari ends up with the Chiefs, he could be like amazing. Like, he could be the Travis Kelce prototype. But I do think Jamar Johnson's draft stock is going to be something very interesting to follow over the next year.
Many people were saying he was tight end 2 this year. So he will definitely be in contention for tight end 1 next year. We'll just have to see. But Bjorn, who's your second pick?
So with the 4th overall pick, I took Jamari with my first pick. I will go with I'll go with a guy who I kind of didn't love his play this season, but I do think next season he'll take the step forward, and it's Jerry Mixon, linebacker.
I like that.
I think with Betcher going out, I think it's completely on Mixon to step up. They didn't add anybody in the portal. I think that Lanning's banking on Mixon taking that next step, and I think he could eclipse 100 tackles. And I think you guys talked about Betcher like kind of tackling and getting run over. I think Mixon is much bigger, much stronger. He's not as fast. I wouldn't say he's not like a heat-seeking missile as Betcher was towards the ball, but I don't think he's getting run over by guys. And I think we saw it in the Iowa game. He had 14 tackles against Iowa, and he was taking guys down right in the hole. So I like my two guys, Jamari Johnson and Jerry Mixon with the 3rd and 4th pick.
Yeah, I think for my second pick, I would pick Jordan Davison, but I feel like that's also kind of a cop out. So I'm going to go to Dak Moore, which could also be considered a cop out, but I think
it's not.
His skill set is going to be utilized so much better, being the second wide receiver, potentially, used in the slot a little bit more. Him and some of our transfer guys might step up there, but I think Eastu really taking the top off just with his elite speed and his downfield threat ability will really open up the intermediate for Dak Moore, where he can get the ball in space and just show us the special athlete he is. So Dak Moore's my second pick. I'm going more squared for my picks. So,
love it.
Yeah.
No, that's a good pick. I like that. For me, there's honestly a lot of guys. I want to go to the DB room. I think Naeem Oford could make a serious jump to become a starter. I think Iffy could be phenomenal. I think Finney could become the best cornerback in the country, which is very possible with his size. He's going to just kind of grow into his body a little bit more, get a little bit more comfortable at the position. Trey McNutt, another guy who could – he's been injured, so it's hard to really tell. But I don't know. I'm going to go with I'm going to take Iffy. I'm going to take Iffy. I think he's going to really solidify himself as cornerback number 2. I think he'll take the jump to be that guy. I think he'll be a lot better than he was this year. This year he was kind of a rotational corner. He was listed as like our number 2 guy. But I think he takes the jump to becoming like a solid, like a legitimate corner, because I believe he becomes draft eligible next year as a true junior. I believe that he probably looks to be like the 3rd to 5th round pick, which would be great. But I want him to, come back for a senior year. But if he's my guy for next year.
Solid pick. Mm-hmm. I'd also like to run through. I have like kind of a list of names that I wrote down before the pod. Just some other candidates that could be on the table. And there's some picks that are a little out there. But I'll talk through them. So Jeremiah McClellan, I think that's another receiver who could have a big year. Janoris Wilson, if given the opportunity at right tackle, I think he has shown that he can fill in at that spot if he gets the full-time job. Fox Crater as well. We talked about him earlier. If they don't get Seaton, he could step in at left tackle. And the kicker, we haven't talked about the kicker position at all, but
Oregon's always gonna have a bad kicker.
I know, but Gage Hurrick, I think I'm saying that right. He was the kickoff specialist. He has a really big leg. He was amongst the Big Ten leaders in kickoff yardage, and he's probably going to take over the field goal and PAT duties. And then younger guys like Andrew Oesch, the 5-star transfer from Penn State, tight end. Kendre Harrison, true freshman. Breaking out, but just contributing. Yeah, I think he with the amount of 12 personnel sets. And then you said Naeem Oford, Trey McNutt is another one. Dorian Brew, Nasir Wyatt is a really interesting one because all 4 starting spots are taken, but he really flashed as a true freshman. He didn't leave. He was one of the only holdovers. So I think they have big things in store for Nasir Wyatt. If you guys want to dive into any of those, free game.
I think another guy I kind of want to shout out. He had a really big spring game, and we thought potentially he could, step up into that room. But Dylan Gresham.
Yes, Ferd, I'm not even going to lie. I just looked him up to make sure they didn't transfer. No, Dylan Gresham he's going to be something. I'm telling you, dude. He was a true freshman this last year, and dude was getting some play. Like, he's going to be a dog. I just know it. I just feel like he's going to be a guy. Like, it just feels like it. But no, Brett, I'm glad you pointed that out. That's somebody that I wanted to definitely just throw a name out there. I don't think we really need to go in depth with any of those guys, Bjorn. I think just throwing them out there so people know that they are on the radar. Somebody to look out for, if you're like, who is this guy? And it's like, just look him up.
For sure. And we'll definitely
impact the team next year.
We'll definitely do more deep dives on this kind of category as the
offseason for sure.
year goes on. Yeah, because we'll have a lot of time for that. We've hit an hour, so I feel like we're good to wrap up.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening to Oregon Ducks Live on the Voice of College Football. Join our membership on YouTube. Like, subscribe, do everything. Donate. We'll be on live in a couple days. All right.
Yep.
See you guys later.